Hi and welcome back to the cottage. Today I want to share 5 healthy habits that have truly changed my life as a mom of 5. My husband and I have 5 young school-age children who are all still living at home, and we can find our lives being very busy, a little chaotic at times with all of the different schedules and activities going on. And I have found that these particular habits that I'm going to share with you today have really helped to ground me, be able to give me more energy, and really find more fulfillment in my role as a mother. The first life-changing habit that I want to share with you today is I began making healthier decisions about what I put into my body. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I am a bit of a stress eater. I know there are some people that when they're stressed out, they can't even bear the thought of eating. That is definitely not me. When I'm overwhelmed and really stressed, I crave just about everything. All of the sweets, all of the salty things, just anything I can get my hands on, I want to eat it. There was a period of time in my life where I didn't really think at all about what I was putting into my body. If it sounded good and I was hungry, I just ate it, and I sort of justified this whole philosophy with the idea that I was always burning a lot of calories because I was active, I had little kids to chase around, and it sort of made up the difference. But as you may or may not know, as you get older, your metabolism does tend to slow down a bit, and that was starting to catch up with me in some ways. Now I try to be really intentional about the foods that I do eat, making sure that they're high in nutrition, there are things that'll give me energy. And I found for myself in particular, it's really important for me to stay in front of hunger, because just like stress eating, when I would get those hunger pains, I would want to grab for any convenience, processed snack or food that I could find. My husband and I also recently started practicing intermittent fasting, which on a typical day would look something like eating a dinner around 7 o'clock in the evening and then trying not to eat again until the late morning, so around 11 o'clock or even up till noon. And at first this was a little tricky because I was feeling those hunger pains around like 9 or 10 in the morning. But after about a month, I would say my body really got into sync with this fasting, and now I really don't have any cravings from those fasting hours. I'm also mindful to drink plenty of water every single day. I know that a lot of people rely on coffee or tea and different caffeine products to really help them get a boost, but I have found that actually for a really long time, not just recently, that water has always been kind of my go-to drink. I feel like it gives me just as much energy as caffeine would, but again, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I wouldn't really know a good comparison in that way. I basically carry my water bottle around with me at all times, whether I'm driving kids to different activities or I'm working around the house on different projects around here. I always have that water bottle with me so that I can take a sip whenever the need arises. One telltale sign for me if I haven't been drinking enough water during the day is I'll start to get headaches. And so that is my key to drink a little bit more. All right, moving on to the second healthy habit that has changed my life as a mother, and that is to make intentional time to connect with nature. This is something that I actually struggled with quite a bit, especially when my kids were very young. I found it hard to get outside and just to be outside for outside's sake, because it seemed kind of pointless to me when I had so much to do inside the house that needed to be tackled, like laundry and dishes and all the other house chores that a person could do inside the house. I always felt kind of guilty just going outside just to be outside. But I have found that that is really, really important for me. I've had low vitamin D levels in my past, and living in this northern climate here in Minnesota, especially in the winter months, our vitamin D is lacking because we don't get a lot of sunshine. And so I've had to be really intentional about making sure I get outside every single day for a portion of time. The seasons are so beautiful. Here in Minnesota, we experience all 4 seasons, and I love being able to connect with nature in that way. I've found that I love gardening and just getting my hands dirty in the soil and taking that time to really connect with nature is also something that brings me a lot of peace inside for my emotional state, and it just gives me a happy perspective on life. Some other benefits of connecting with nature that I've experienced personally is that I feel like I sleep a lot better breathing in that fresh air throughout the day. The days that I'm able to spend outside, I do fall asleep more quickly and I stay asleep throughout the night. I'm not restless. I wake up with the sun. I feel like my whole body is just really a lot more in sync. And also I feel like it's boosted my immune system. I don't get sick very often anymore or as easily. If I do get sick, it's usually just a brief cold or a very brief illness, and I'm back to feeling like myself. The third habit that has changed my life as a mom is being able to establish a general routine or flow to my day. This particular habit has been very, very important to not only me, but also to my kids. I found from being a young mother when my firstborn was even just a baby, how important that routines truly were. When we were starting to establish a sleep routine for him, it just gave me so much peace knowing that he was going to have a nice, fulfilled napping time, and that allowed me to kind of get some other things done around the house. So that routine has really been something I've been building over my years as a mother, and it has just been such a blessing for my life. Of course, I'm not talking about a very strict, rigid plan that has to be followed down to every single minute of the day. It's more of a flow for the day, just kind of a sequence of events, if you will. So here in our home, we have a general idea of when we wake up in the morning, and we kind of know when the lights are going to go off in the bedrooms for everyone to settle in for the night. As part of our established routine and flow to our day, our family does try very hard to always eat our evening meal together. All 7 members of the family sitting down at one time at the dining room table. This is a great moment for us to be able to reconnect with each other, tell the stories that we have from the day. Of course, as our kids are getting older and they have different activities and schedules and some jobs even, it is getting more difficult, I've found, to sit down every single night, but as a whole, we really do try as a family to sit down as often as we possibly can because it just is so important to us, and it's something that we cherish together. And finally, at the end of the day, the final stop on my routine is my nightly reset. I've talked about this before. This has become so helpful to me. This is a habit that I really have been appreciating because it simplifies my life so much, and it really helps to keep things running smoothly. So every night I like to make sure that the dishes are washed, the floor is swept, everything is put back where it belongs in the home. My husband and kids do a great job of this, making sure all the outside gear is put back in the garage and everything like that. I will sometimes make ahead lunches for the following day so that they're prepped and ready. And this just really does help get the next day off to a good start. So it's sort of something that I do the day before to set myself up for success the following day. Habit number 4 that has truly changed my life as a mom is reducing the number of choices. Now, it's funny how taking things away can actually add a lot of value to a life, but that's exactly what's happened here. I'll give you just a couple of examples. My kids used to be kind of stressed out about having to make different choices about what to wear or what toys to play with. They just were overwhelmed by all the possibilities. And when we really greatly reduced the number of choices that they had to make, it made things a lot more simple. They became more independent with these choices, which solved a lot of problems for me because I didn't have to be involved with them. That has really been a great thing. An example for me personally is meal planning. This is something that I used to spend a lot of time and energy on, and I would really get overwhelmed and having to really rethink the wheel every single time I needed to go grocery shopping and planning what I was going to feed my family. And now that we have just a simple meal rotation list, they're meals that I know my family will enjoy eating, they're meals that I know how to cook easily, it has really simplified our process of mealtime. Another area where I have reduced the number of choices is in home decor. I used to have a lot of items that I would use for different seasons or holidays, and now I've pared things down to just the pieces that I truly do value and enjoy. And this gives me a lot of peace because I'm not worried about storing anything. And I've also found that by reducing the number of items that I have to work with, I'm a lot more creative on how I display things and making sure that I give those items that I value a lot more prominence in the home. And it's just been a lot more fun to decorate. And the 5th habit that has changed my life as a mom is to carve out time to make sure I do the things that I enjoy. Now, I know it's so easy as a mom to just want to fulfill the needs of everyone else. It's easy to lose the sense of self. And I fell into this trap for sure, especially when my kids were really little, that there just didn't seem to be any time at all to pursue any of the dreams or the ideas or goals that I had personally. I was just always focused on them so much that when I had any free time at all, I was just exhausted and didn't want to put forth any other effort. But as I've become a more mature mother, my kids have gotten older, I've found that it really truly is important to make sure that you maintain that sense of self and do things that you love as well. I think that kids really do notice when parents are sort of just going through the motions of the day and they feel drained and they don't feel like themselves. They pick up on this. They're so intuitive. They recognize when you're not feeling like yourself. And I think my kids did recognize this about me. So I want to encourage you, if you are someone who feels like there is no time for yourself, there's no time for you to pursue your passions, to really carve out that time, be really thoughtful about it. You might need to even mark it down on the calendar and say, hey, every night, every Friday night from this time to this time, mom is doing XYZ. It could be something as simple as reading a book, going for a walk, learning how to paint or play the piano or something like that. Just something for yourself. I really truly think that it's just as important for us as moms to kindle our own inner passions as it is for us to help our children realize theirs. Well, that is my list. I'd be curious, what are some healthy habits that you have established in your life that have allowed you to become more grounded, have more energy, more fulfillment? If you could comment down below in the comment section, we can chat down there. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.